Day 12 of Donald Trump's hush money criminal trial resumes this morning in a New York City courtroom after a revealing day of testimony on Friday when Trump's former confidant and longtime aide, Hope Hicks, took the witness stand. Hicks testified about what it was like inside Trump's 2016 presidential campaign and how the alleged hush money payments came about. Let's bring in former litigator and MSNBC legal correspondent Lisa Rubin. Lisa, everyone was talking about sort of the emotional part of this where Hope broke down. But what is it that she brought to the table in terms of what the prosecution is looking to prove?
I think, Mika, that Hope was the most valuable witness on the context of what was happening in the campaign in October 2016 that would have led Michael Cohen and Donald Trump to believe that a payoff to Stormy Daniels was not just advisable, but absolutely necessary to preserve his chances. I had a chance to reread the testimony over the weekend once we had the transcript, and the timeline that she puts into motion is absolutely devastating. It starts with being notified of the Access Hollywood tape by the Washington Post. She's the first person that the campaign, in the campaign, to understand that the Washington Post has the tape and the transcript on October 7th. Once the tape is released and the article is published, so many things happen in rapid succession. A number of very prominent Republicans quickly disassociate themselves from Donald Trump and the campaign. You've got another tape and a rumor about it coming to her the next day on October 8th. Then by October 9th, Trump has his next debate. The first question out of the gate, or one of them, from Anderson Cooper and Martha Raddatz, is about the Access Hollywood tape. By October 10th, the New York Times is publishing reports of other problematic behavior that Trump has had with women. And then by the 15th and the 16th, Trump is again on the offensive, pushing back against these other women's stories, not stories involving Stormy Daniels or Karen McDougal, but other women who have accused Trump of misconduct in this period. And so she is taking us through in rapid fire succession, one crisis after another, precipitated all at once by the Access Hollywood tape, from which they can't get out from under. It's no wonder, after seeing Hope Hicks's testimony, that Michael Cohen, Dylan Howard, David Pecker, Donald Trump are engineering these settlement payments to happen because they needed this problem to go away, as opposed to continuing throughout November and up till Election Day, Mika.
So Politico says in their story reporting on this that Hope Hicks offered the defense their first glimmer of hope here, and says that Trump's lawyers have argued that Trump's motivation in seeking to silence two women, former Playboy model Karen McDougal and porn star Stormy Daniels, as prosecutors relate, but instead to protect his family. The motive is important because in trying to convict Trump of 34 felonies, prosecutors are seeking to link allegedly fraudulent business records with violations of election laws. There were parts of her testimony where she actually did say he was doing it to protect the family, right?
Well, yes and no. I would say, Joe, she said it was a motivation, but not the motivation or even the principal motivation. It's like having two hungry mouths to feed, and if the defense is one of those mouths, she gave them a nice and tasty dessert, but she saved the main meal for the prosecution, in that she revealed in 2018, once Michael Cohen came forward and told the New York Times that he had made the payment to Stormy Daniels, Hope Hicks, at the very end of her testimony, describes a conversation that she had with Donald Trump very shortly thereafter, where he told her that he had spoken to Cohen and that Cohen had made that payment out of the goodness of his heart to protect Trump from false accusations. Hope didn't believe that, but what she said next was the more devastating thing. Trump then said to her, I think it was better that this come out now than if it had come out during the campaign and Michael hadn't made that payment at all. It was clear to her that the primary motivation, and while she didn't say this outright, she was conveying for Donald Trump the most important motivating factor was not Melania's feelings, but preserving his electoral chances.